Well, here we are in the shop. Put some air in the tires there, jockeyed it once or twice and rolled it on in. Maybe we can get a little better look at it. See if I can zoom in here and see. There's all the rust that I was talking about originally in this car. It's got little spots everywhere. I haven't found any that are all the way through. They're just, I think, chips. Let's get up here and take a look. Maybe. See what we can see. It's like a little chip, and then it has surface rust around it. They're pretty much everywhere on the car. So if I decide to paint it, I'm going to have to take it down quite a ways, and that remains to be seen. It's fairly straight all the way down. The dent that I've found so far is right there on the fender. You can see that one. Not too bad. All in all, it's a very straight car considering it's a 1977. Like I said, it's been sitting in a barn since apparently '89. There's one other small dent in it, and that is right here, just in front of the marker light. You can see it, little tiny one right there. Other than that, I see not too much. Maybe a door ding or two. Nothing major. Get this thing opened up here. Take a look inside. See if I can get the prop in here. Here's the engine that's in it. The guy who had it just before me was trying to get it turned over. He took all the injectors out and dumped some oil and stuff down inside and could not get the engine to turn over. He tried to put it in gear and drag it, and it just wouldn't go. So he abandoned the project and basically sold it to me for what he paid for it. A very fair price. I had, engines sitting around to use, so I had no problem taking it. Like I said, my son wants to get back into a Rabbit diesel, and he doesn't mind a 4-door. I prefer 2 doors, and this is a nice old one, and he has an affinity for old cars just like his dad. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this jacked up and maybe drag the axles out of it and get ready to tear it apart, and then I'll come back to you. Well, I guess I'll do a quick rundown on pretty much the steps to take the engine and transmission out of this car. Need to remove both the drive axles, which mounts to basically a it's about a 30mm, I believe, nut right here in the center. Take that off, and then underneath need to move the axle here. So when you take the nut off, the outer end out by the tire comes off. Then you need to remove the 6 bolts that hold on the inner CV. They're right here. They go all the way around. They can either be a star type head or an Allen. These look to be the star type. So once you take them out, you can go ahead and crank the wheels one direction and generally get the axle out. Do the same for the other side. While we're under here, we'll go ahead and disconnect the exhaust. We're going to do that here at this flange off of the manifold. The manifold's up there. We have a short piece coming down on this style to this 3-bolt connection here. That part of this exhaust will go away when I put the other engine in. This is an earlier style that has 4 bolts right up at the manifold, and it's bolted solid, and then it has this flex tube here for the vibration. These diesels vibrate a whole bunch. The later ones at the manifold is a big fiber donut with some spring-loaded clamps, and the whole thing is allowed to move on the donut, and that's what I'll put back in here, the later style. The rest of the mounts in here are the same. You have your rear engine mount right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and take it off the frame right down underneath, 2 bolts. You have the front engine mount, which is the one I had to replace, which is right up here, if I can see it, right here, and it's just behind where the bumper would be. Anyway, go ahead and just take the 2 bolts that hold the housing on, and then that'll come with the engine. Then up top, you have the other mount, which is, it's on the pulley side of the engine, right down in here. I don't know if you can see my hand, my finger, right in there. That's the one that I replaced with the C-clamps and bent the hell out of them. And on the far side, on the other end of the transmission, you have one more similar type mount right here down underneath the battery tray. So those are the mounts to this. You have to take your transmission linkage apart, which is in the back here, ball and socket style. You have very few wires to deal with on this car. You have your this one here is your oil pressure up on the head here. One wire there, spade connector. You have your temperature here, right down here on the water jacket coming out of the head. You have the big wire here, which is your glow wire, and then you have your wire that goes to the solenoid on the back of the injector pump. When you put power to it, it opens the valve so that fuel is allowed to flow. Other than that, there shouldn't be any real wiring to deal with on this car. I always take the radiator out, get it out of the way, drain the fluid, of course, take the radiator out to get it out of the way. You have one vacuum line here off the vacuum pump to the brake booster back there, and just your miscellaneous hoses. Got your fuel line right here down to the pump, and then this one here is the return line back to the tank. So that's pretty much it. I'll go ahead and take these axles out and drain the water out of this thing, or antifreeze, and then we'll come back to it.